Howdy, it is I, Junk, back again. Did you have on your bingo card message from Junk on Friday? Well, you got one anyway, and it's good to talk to you too. And thank you for saying that. I really appreciate you too. You're too kind. Well, as usual, let me give you the brief health update. I'm doing kind of well. I'm doing the right things, doing the right work, internal work, external work, eating right, somatics, and I'm feeling, as good as I have in a long time. I wouldn't say great. Not like I'm fixed, I'm going to go run a marathon or something like that, but I'm feeling about as good as I think I can remember feeling. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and I want to thank you for hanging with me through that. I haven't actually uploaded more just because I've been doing all those things. It takes a lot of time to do things right, to really build yourself back the way you need to be built back. But thank you for struggling with me as I do this. That's topic number one. Also, you're going to notice this is just B-roll. I'm recording everything differently. I got to switch it up every time for some reason. And so what you're watching right now is kind of B-roll of just me going through the hangar and messing around with stuff. I apologize if at times it scrolls too fast. Just look away until the gameplay starts if that happens to you. That's cool. But okay, we got to talk about two things. And I'm just going kind of off the top of the head here. We got to talk about Manni. We got to talk about the Ocho Nueve, Charleston Choo Choo, whatever it is, robot. Let's talk about Manni first, because this hurts me. It really does. Manni, we love you. We do. You've been an icon in this community for a long time. Your word has held a lot of weight in this community. But we're confused. We're confused by some of the stuff you've done here. I'm older than you, so maybe this was just my assumption when I said you were a hero for walking away, but it just occurred to me that you might have taken out a calculator and done the finances for what was going to happen when people walked away from the channel because you weren't playing the game they came to see. And apparently that isn't what happened, because after like 2 days, you came right back and started making videos to sell people the game you just called predatory and evil 2 days earlier? I'm confused, Manni. I'm real confused. Did it just not occur to you that you yelling woohoo every 20 seconds was maybe not why people were here? Look, you're a good kid, and we love you. But we're still confused. How do we trust you, man? Until recently, until like the last 10 months or so, there was a perception among, us, the hoi polloi, the people who aren't content partners, us poors who got to buy our robots with money. You've heard of us. There was a perception among us that some of the YouTubers were being excessively enthusiastic for things. They would obliquely mention this robot might be too powerful, but they wouldn't necessarily go to the mat for it in the way it has become kind of much more standard lately. And I understand your terms of your agreement make that tricky. You can't just call them out. Well, apparently you can, because you came right back. But generally speaking, people under that agreement can't just call them out. But we're coming in with the perception that you're in a position that makes you predisposed to overlook some of the problems. Now you outright tell us it's predatory and evil. And when it affects your money for 2 days, you come right back. So yeah, we got some whiplash there, and I think we should talk about that. I don't think you've talked about that enough. I understand what you said, and I'm not begrudging you making a living. I want you to make a living because, like I said, I love you and so does this community. Nobody wants you to be hungry. Nobody wants you to be sad. But man, it was so quick. It was so quick. And I just did it genuinely not occur to you that there was going to be a sacrifice if you went down this path? Because that's what I thought was heroic, was the sacrifice. And if you didn't think that through, I think that maybe we need two things. Well, number one, we need you to more thoroughly explain what your stance is on mobile gaming. Because I've explained my stance, and just to recap it for anybody who missed it, my stance is, at this point, we know what this relationship is, and if we continue this relationship, we're participating in it to some degree, right? Like, if I go back to the ex-girlfriend who's a gold digger, and I know she's a gold digger, who's really at fault here? Well, I know what Pixonic is, and I'm going back to them and I'm playing that game, right? So that's my position. And I would tell anybody who wants an honest relationship, don't get into one with Pixonic. Anybody who doesn't want to be abused financially, this ain't the place to go. But if you can suffer through it, there's a game underneath it. But what's your stance, Manny? Because I don't get it. I don't get it, and I want to know. And I think even now it would be nice if there was just a little bit more explanation. You could just draw it out a little bit more, like make it make sense to us that 2 days after being predatory and evil, you're selling it back to us again. Like what happened here? Because I understand it was the money, and you sort of obliquely referenced like the new game was killing the channel, so you're going to make another channel for that game. But like the whiplash, man, it's just, how do we trust anything? Like, how do we know that when you tell us a robot is good or bad, it's not just you're having a predatory and evil day versus a check my bank account day? I don't know, man. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And I just think a lot of people kind of in a place where it's hard to invest emotionally in you, right? Like, not that we had like a parasocial relationship in that sense, but like it's hard to listen to what you say and not view it as inherently suspect because I don't know what to believe. So that's where my head's at there. Oh, painful topic. So also painful, yeah. The Choo-Choo Chi-Chi, the Chachi Loves Joni, the Ochokochi. Slight sidebar here. What? Are we running out of names? Aren't there only like 60 robots or something like that? Do we need to go this far? Do we need to go this hard? Unbelievable. I can't believe we've gone through everything in the Pantheon yet, or that, you know, we don't have other, I don't know, whatever. Put the ridiculous name aside, because it's like something this evil has to have a really silly name, so it, you know, it's like amusing. I've always said this about naming conventions in terms of like player names in War Robots. The scarier the name, the worse the player. You know, if someone's like the name General Death Killer and a gun in their name, they are going to be probably Diamond League and very easy to roll over. But if someone's got, you know, the name Bubbles, you better hide from Bubbles. Bubbles, you know how hard Bubbles has been defending Bubbles' self with the name Bubbles? That's like a boy named Sue. Bubbles is going to be hard as coffin nails. You stay away from Bubbles. So that's kind of goes into the Ochokochi theory. Like, the name is so absurd because the robot is so terrifying. Other people have already mentioned this in the comments, and I'm going to mention it too because this is just more evidence. Pixonic doesn't play their own game because there's no way you could play a match with these robots and think this was an acceptable thing to release. The only other time I can remember this kind of feeling that I had was when the Korean Dashbots came out. And if you weren't there, you don't remember. We're talking about people who are in boas and griffins. These are slow robots, okay? Slow robots. Boas and griffins, and suddenly you've got the Bulgasari dashing between them. Yeah, it was no point. There was like this was, if you didn't have the money, and back then I didn't, that's the end of the game for you. Well, here we are again. Here we are again. Now, the thing that I think would be similar to it was the release of the Fafnir, but on the original release of the Fafnir, but I came back. I left the game with the Dashbots, and I came back just after the Fafnir release. So I missed the really bad time of the Fafnir. It had been nerfed once by the time I got here, and it was still the obvious meta bot where matches were just going to be Fafnirs versus Fafnirs, and nothing else mattered. Now, I understand the economic model, as we all do. The economic model of War Robots is you release something, you keep it overpowered until everyone's bought it, then you nerf it, and you release the next overpowered thing. We get it, okay? The problem I think we're having is the range of overpowered, like 20% buff over what it should be tuned to, right? Overtuned by 20% is kind of what we would expect. This thing is not overtuned by 20%. This thing is a robot from a different game where the hero is kind of an anime hero and the robot is invincible, okay? This is not a War Robots War. I don't know what this is. This is like some shrunken Attack on Titan stuff you've unleashed on us. I don't know what this is for. I don't know why you would think it's okay. Well, I know why you think it's okay, because you never played the game. The developers have never played the game. And if you ever watch that time they played against the YouTubers, and you could see they didn't know like the basics of how to operate the robots. They didn't know like the basic decision making of like when to phase exile and not phase exile. I mean, it was just like, it was sad. And the saddest thing is because as you're watching it, you understand why the game has so many problems. That the people running it don't know how to play it. They've never played it before. And the Ochokochi is like the purest crystallized distillation of developers not understanding the basics of the game. There is no universe in which this is an acceptable robot to release. We understand the nerf buff cycle, and this isn't the problem. The problem is what you've released is not merely 20%, even 50% overtuned. It is a completely different level. There is no reason to have any robot in your lineup that isn't this robot if you have it. And Predator made a video where he said you can't blame the players because players are always going to use whatever is available that's effective. And, you know, as one of them, along with him, I'm not saying he doesn't play. Yeah, he clearly plays. He's like unreal good at the game. But I am saying that I think we can blame ourselves a little bit here. And I think we've seen that we can blame ourselves a little bit every time we like have a no spend period and we go and spend, right? Collectively, I mean, I don't think I'm not saying I did, but like as a group, we will do this thing to ourselves to a degree, obviously enabled by Pixonic. So I mean, I think it adds a weird level to the game where when these robots are rare, you don't want to be the person to drop it first. Like you don't want to be the person to punch first. You want the other person to drop it so you can say, well, I had to, he dropped his. Like I didn't have a choice. It was self-defense, you know. I had to drop the Uli Uli because he dropped his Uli Uli. So it adds this weird kind of like honor element. Someone left a comment, by the way. I would have shout out to somebody. I have to find this comment. They said, it's weird you can get honor points for doing something so dishonorable. And fully agreed. It is very strange, but the honor point system has been clown shoes for a long time, so I don't think anyone's shocked by that. But yeah, this is the ultimate symptom of the disease, that Pixonic doesn't play the game and they don't understand. I promise you, they genuinely don't understand how badly they've messed up here. And then the funny thing is they go on and they nerf a whole bunch of things, right? So now you were using like a nether to try to take it down. Well, don't. Lynx, don't do that. Reaper, don't do that. So the robot that was already overpowered and its Titan friend, the Newton, no nerfs. So wow, is I guess what I want to say about that decision. There's so many things about this robot, and its drone too. Like the thing about, if you read the drone, one of its abilities is to add a bunch of dots that don't do any damage to your bot, which of course is of no value except to this particular bot. So if you leveled up your drone, there's $50 you're never going to see again. Because what other bot are you going to have where having it dotted is useful to you? Maybe that's an attempt to move closer to a world where you can't remove your drone. They've already made it hard, right, to remove the drone. As they're bragging about their quality of life improvements. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But like, they put us in a situation where we destroy turrets when we put a new turret on a mothership. You think they're going to do that with drones? And that's why they're moving towards drones really only being useful for one particular robot? I don't know, man. If that happens, that might... Oh, boy. That might be it for me. The turret thing was already anti-player, but nobody loves the motherships anyway, right? So you're not going to drive people away from the game by ruining the motherships, because the motherships are an abomination to begin with. But I don't think the community has quite the same feeling about drones. I know unreleased people were that way. I wasn't here for that. But I know that I think since then, we've come to value the flexibility and builds it gives us. The whole thing about robots is, in like this game, it's like we can take them apart and put them back together. There's that Lego aspect of this game that keeps us engaged and makes it fun and interesting. And if they take that away, I don't know, man. I think we can call it and stick a fork in Pixonic. They're done. Anyway, I got 2 games I want to show you there, both from before the nerfs, which is why I had to hurry up and make this video now. You know, I recorded them last week. I'm like, oh, these are great. I'll do voiceover for them later. And then here we are later. So let's get into those. All right. We are dropping in on the valley. See, we've got the Fulgur Newton, the Brisant Lynx, the Ultimate Orkin Invader, Ultimate Pulsar Ophion, the Charleston Choo Choo with the Needles, and the Ardent Behemoth with the Retro Reapers. And I'm just looking in these moments early to see, do I see a name fly by that I recognize in their team or my team that would convince me we should do something different? I don't see anything I recognize, so I jump right into the Behemoth. As you know, the Behemoth is the robot that's missing from my fingers. And oh, we've got a jumping Skyros who happens to find himself in front of the worst possible weapons. So I get up here on top of the home. I don't jump anywhere. I get on top of the home. And I think that's a shell we're aiming at down there, trying to help my weather chicken friend. And I'm so intent on down the range, I kind of miss. We've got a melee Ophion. Now, if I had timed the shots better, I might have been able to take him out here. But this is not a good matchup for me at the best of times. And this is not the best of times. So immediately, I switch gears, go into my Needle Ochokochi. Somehow there were 2 robots, right? There was the Ophion and the shell, and that was a triple kill, but whatever. I'll take a free kill. Here we have a melee Fenrir. Interesting, the thing about this melee Fenrir that confuses me slightly is the last stand. I feel like last stand is kind of unnecessary on tanks, and you may disagree. I understand there's divergent viewpoints on this. For me, last stand is for a flimsy bot that's going to collapse if it doesn't have some help. So I put a last stand on a Mars, you know, I put a last stand on a Hellburner. A last stand on a tank just seems like weird. Another Ophion here, and there's so many effects I can't see what this is. What am I... What was that? Was it a boa? I'm not even sure. Anyway, another Fenrir. Sonic Fenrir this time, and his friend Another, feeling brave, feeling strong right now. Probably shouldn't. Another... I don't get that kill, but that's okay. I got a free kill earlier, so it all evens out. Sonic Fenrir, I'm still just pushing back. I hate to do you like that, buddy, but I need the godlike. Give me the godlike. Oh, we got... I'm gonna go help my friends contest at home until I get shot in the back by a Miramitz. I don't have to take that. The Charleston Choo Choo does not have to take anything from a Miramitz, okay? Check your meta. Well, he can't stop me, so... I'm gonna flip this beacon in because I've got my ability back shortly, and the guy goes up. Yeah, if he... You can see there, like, even if he had been on the beacon, I could have knocked him off shortly, so... Very good way to take a beacon with this thing. And... I am somewhat concerned looking at the beacon bar. I don't know what happened, maybe I was too busy dancing, but... We're down to like a third or a quarter of our beacon, and they've got almost a full beacon bar. So at this point... I start having a conversion, a conversion of philosophy where it's like, I need to actually get some beacons. And if some people are standing on them and happen to be taken out too, that's great. But I've got this shell here I can take out, but I know that Rook is trouble, and that Rook is probably going to be the end of me. I can delay it for a while if I snuggle up on him. We're just going to dance really close. One person in the comments at one time said that if you are the Rook in this situation, if you blow your shields, as you back up, you'll be able to make enough space to hit him, to hit me, but I'm hoping this guy didn't know that comment. And what I'm really watching, I'm doing 2 things. I'm trying to stay up on him, and I'm watching the beacon bar, see what's flipping. Because it's occurred to me we need beacons really badly. This is going to be a problem. So that's why I dropped in on enemy home. I feel like if we can hold this for a bit... That would be really good. Lynx is tough with the Newton because, like a lot of Titans, if it gets up on you, it's tough to get away. You can lift it, but there's something about the Lynx that, even if you shoot it in midair, sometimes it doesn't seem to register. I don't know. So, I do manage to get rid of the Lynx, but now I've got a Feather Destrier and a Minos. Minos, you're old news. You're not even the right charging robot anymore. Like, what are you doing, brother? Don't get the Minos kill because a friend of mine across the way gets it. And now I've got a behemoth. And how humiliating is this? A feather destrier shooting at me. Ugh. Oh no. Please don't let... Oh, I think it... Oh man. Thank goodness. I'm so glad I was killed by a Titan because I was concerned I was going to be killed by a Seraph, and that is too humiliating. So now I'm concerned. We've got one beacon, kind of a sliver of beacon bar. Yeah, I think we need beacons right now, like really, really badly. So it looks like maybe they're meching a little, but I don't know. We need beacons, is what I know. Yeah, we've got a one-player advantage, it looks like, so I'm just going to start flipping beacons. And if I can take people out along the way, that's great, but that cannot be a priority, because if we don't have a 5 cap, I don't think we can reverse this. I mean, I know there's people who can predict that exactly, but I'm not one of them. So I'm just trying to move where I can to get a beacon, because I think we need the 5 cap. And if we can mech them, great, but it won't matter if we don't have the beacon bar to do it. So now there's the 5 cap, and now we have to hold it. Here I am trying to cheese my way into a Titan killer. And, denied, but, you know, justly denied. I would not have deserved that. That would have just been snaking it. But I've got some concerns about the beacon bar still. If they manage to, like, this is the problem. Like, if this guy kept away, like, just tried to get a beacon on the other side of the map, that would have been better than fighting us. Because he can dash to the beacon before we can get to it, maybe. Maybe he knew he couldn't do that. I don't know. But at this point, it's all over but the crying. Hey, free behemoth kill. I mean, that's going to have karmic consequences, but... And that looks like they are out of bots and out of time. Victory. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. All right, 9.7, 12 kills and 5 beacons. Well, that was a rare performance where I get the most beacons because I had to, because we were going to lose otherwise. I would have been perfectly happy to run around continuing to do some deeps. But yeah, that's a solid performance. I'm not upset with that. So cool. That is Valley. Let us get into the next game. All right, here we are dropping into the abyss. And I'm going to start with the Titan. I'm going to start with the Behemoth, but I see there's a Crisis Reaper here too. So he's on the left. He's going to probably go to the left sniper spot. I'm going to save my time of, you know, wrestling with him for it, and I am going to go right to this top area here where you have a great sniper spot. Good lookout at the top beacon. You can stop some people coming from teleporters. You can see people coming from their spawn, and you can even shoot into the sniper spot on their side if they come far enough towards their spawn from it. So I'm looking around. I'm finding it a little bit odd that I'm seeing contested beacons down below and not much up here, and then all of a sudden here comes a nether, and okay, there goes a nether, and then we have a lynx here. And the lynx, sometimes the lynx, it's good to hit quantum radar so they can't stealth out of your shots, but they can phase out of your shots. Just then, an emoji comes stealthed at me, and I wish I had my stealth back, or my quantum radar back, so I could take him out. And I've got these 2 annoying robots. Name 2 annoying robots, you're going to get emoji and lynx. I managed to do enough damage to the lynx that it decides it's going to phase, and it doesn't want to be in my shot, so it gets stealth again. The lynx, on the other hand, didn't time its stuff quite right, and it gets taken out. Now I just have this emoji to deal with. It is a gnat. It is not a serious concern. It does manage to flip the beacon to white, and here we have a problem. Because the good news is, I took out the threats to the beacon. The bad news is there's no one here to cap it. So I start slowly walking my way over to the top beacon. Very slowly. And as I'm walking, I'm looking at the beacon bar, I'm getting slightly concerned. So wait, they've got 3 beacons. We've got 1, and there's 1 white one that I'm walking towards. That makes me a little nervous. Because if there's 1 white beacon and there's 3 red beacons, that means the beacon they're contesting is our home, which is flipping right now. And so I just hustle onto that beacon C, because we need a beacon. That said, I'm concerned about the beacon bar, I'm concerned about the beacon control. The thing of it is, as I've said many times, The reason people mech when they spawn raid is because they lose so many robots trying to hold enemy home. And I've got a behemoth reaper with a clear line of fire towards the beacon. So it's like, I'm concerned, but I'm not mad at the situation, because this is just gonna be free kills for me. Link's rushing towards me. Okay. Good use of the quantum radar there on my part. We got behemoth dropping in, and I still have shots. I still have enemies here. How? I took out a Fenrir there. How are they still letting me shoot at them? Well, they're fighting on other beacons, I guess. I see there's somebody who came into our spawn, but I don't care. You can take out a scorpion shooting back towards home. I'm just looking around like, is this really happening? Are they just going to keep letting me do this? No one's going to come get me? Here we have somebody come to get me. We have an angler. I'll use my mothership, which is going to stop him from blinding me. And that is bad news for him. Now we have the Fenrir coming in, and I got the godlike there. Happy to have that. We have the Minos teammate take out the Fenrir. Looking back towards home, what do we have here? I don't even know what it was, but it's beyond godlike for me. And uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here comes the Ochokochi from the enemy team. Obviously, there's no good matchup for an Ochokochi but another Ochokochi, but I'm noticing my shots seem to be doing a fair amount of damage. I'm not sure it's maxed, or maybe it doesn't have a pilot. So I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can, safe in the knowledge I will not be able to take it out in this robot. But that's okay. I have an appropriate robot to take this out. Another Ochokochi! And you can see right away, as soon as he sees there's an Ochokochi, he's just like, nope, peacing out. I'm gonna go chase this other robot, I'm gonna get out of here. How many? Was that like 2 mothership strikes and a bunch of Titan bubble shotguns? Because that felt like what that was. So I've almost got him down, but of course these robots are nearly invincible. Push him into the teleporter, and I end up going into the teleporter too. You're not getting away from me that easily, buddy. Now, quick thing here, I see his abilities up. I know, I've got to rotate. I've got to rotate, because sometimes, you know, when you bump into an Ochokochi with an Ochokochi, you both go flying. Well, my back is to the abyss, so I'm rotating. That problem is solved, and let's just take care of this little problem here. Because that was an Ares. And we are going to flip this beacon. And I'm looking around. Seems like we're getting our stuff together. But it's still, now it looks like it's 5-on-3, is that right? Is it even possibly correct that it's 5-on-3 right now? If it's 5-on-3, why do we have 4 beacons and they have 1? Like, when you have 5 robots, and the other team has 3 robots, they shouldn't have beacon advantage on you. That shouldn't be a thing. Like, what are you doing? If that's even true. Make some changes. At this point, I felt some kind of way about this because I was just offended the Fenrir would try to shoot me. Sorry, the Fafnir. I was like, you're a Fafnir. You should not be even attempting this. You're a Fafnir, and I have weapons that go through shields. What are you even doing right now? So, we've got a 5 cap. I'm just gonna chase it. And I can just chase it. Take a minute to get that angler to use his ability. And I hope you didn't think I was going to let you have that beacon, because that's not going to happen. You know how insulted? For my dignity, I can't let you have this beacon, Mr. Fafnir. No. Absolutely not. No. Looks like 3-on-3. And we're about to get another 5 cap, so I'm just going to drop the Newton here for honor points. So, I levitate this guy into the air, but I guess it was as a luchador jumped at him. So instead of going up, he goes over. I feel like I deserve half a kill for that. Is there an assist for just throwing someone to their doom? I feel like I deserve one. Anyway, let's check out the scoreboard, see what we got going on here. $7.7 million, 13 kills, and 5 beacons, first place in the team. I'm not mad at that. Oh, and we were down a player, apparently. That explains why they had an early spawn raid. Shout out to the hood guy here with the 6 beacons. That's the real MVP. But yeah, I had fun. I like the Abyss. Why can't all maps be the Abyss? Why can't we just get rid of Power Plant and put another Abyss in there? You can color it blue for variety. It's cool. Everyone's going to love it. Anyway, thank you for watching to the end of the video if you've made it this far. If you're a dog or cat at home alone and I'm here as your babysitter, you are good puppies and kitties, and I bet your owners are going to be back, give you a treat real soon, and I will talk to you very soon. Later.